anxiety is not just in your kids' minds. It's in their body as well, especially their stomach. I'm going to talk to you about how stomach pain and anxiety love to hang out, how they're best friends, and how they're wreaking havoc in your kid's body. And I'm going to talk to you about how to help. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. If you have an anxious child, you're probably pretty used to something like this. Mom, I can't go to school. My stomach hurts so bad. Or you just don't understand. It's not worries. My stomach really hurts. I feel completely nauseous right now. What if I throw up at school? I'm not in your house. I'm not spying. I know this because one, I hear this in my practice every single week. And two, unfortunately, I was an anxious kid, and that was me. I didn't tell my parents that I couldn't go to school because they didn't really care whether I was anxious or not. I was going to go to school. And it was back in the 70s and 80s where we're just like, suck it up and deal with it. So it wouldn't have helped anyway. But, the first day of school, I didn't eat breakfast. You know why? Because I knew I was going to be like gagging and hacking in the back seat of the car on the way to school. So sad. Poor Natasha. The first day of anything, my stomach would hurt. Really anything that I was anxious about, boom, stomach pain. So I know what your kids are going through because that was my life. And it's pretty much under control. But if I'm anxious, like super ridiculously anxious now as an adult, it's happened a few times, my stomach hurts. And I don't even get the mind-body connection. I'll be like, whew, I think I ate something bad. Or maybe I'm having coming down with a stomach flu or something. And my husband will be like, yeah, it's because you're anxious. I'll be like, no, I'm not. What are you talking about? And he'll be like, yeah, you're anxious because that thing that you have to do, it's making you nervous. And I'll be like, no, it's not. Just totally don't even understand me. And then I will do whatever it is that I'm nervous about. And like an hour later, my stomach is totally fine. I'm like, ugh, I curse you for knowing me better than I know myself. But that just shows you like how the mind and body completely do not talk. And most of your kids may not know that their stomach pain is related to their anxiety. And some do, because especially if you help clue them into that connection, which is so good to do as a parent, then they might be a little bit more keyed into the fact that they're anxious, and their stomach pain can actually be an indicator or a positive thing to let them know, okay, I didn't think I was anxious about this, but my stomach apparently does. Now, caveat, we should always say, go talk to your doctor, because if your child's having stomach pain, you want to always rule out medical conditions before chalking it up to anxiety. And sometimes there's a lot of medical issues that are comorbid to anxiety. So your child could have Crohn's disease or lots of other allergies, gluten allergies, and have anxiety as well. So go to the doctor and get medical stuff ruled in, ruled out, so that you know what you're dealing with. But then how do you help your child? That's the big question. The first thing you want to do is let your child know that you understand their stomach really does hurt. There is nothing worse than a parent who's like, you're fine, it's all in your head. You know what? No, it's actually all in their stomach. Their stomach is legitimately hurting. They're having a physical issue with their stomach, but it's caused by their anxiety, if you ruled it out first. So let your child understand that you get they're having some physical pain. And then in step 2, we want to connect the mind and body. Let's talk about that. The biggest way to help a kid who has anxiety that's manifesting in their stomach is to help them understand that anxiety loves to tackle their stomach. And anxiety wants kids to avoid, it wants everybody to avoid. So it says, you know what? I always personify anxiety. If you've seen any of my videos, I like to call it a dictator. If you read my book, Anxiety Sucks, Teen Survival Guide, I always call it a dictator. So we're going to call it a dictator in this video. So if you personify it and you're like, look, your dictator is pulling out all stops. And it's like, I'm going to take you down physically, and I'm going to cause your stomach to hurt, and you're not going to be able to go. Because your dictator wants you to avoid. It wants you to avoid going to school. It wants you to avoid doing things that make you nervous, avoid taking the test, delay it, avoid it. And then your dictator gets to grow bigger. So when you kind of frame it that way for your child, it helps them realize that by giving into their stomach pain, they're actually giving into the dictator. Sometimes giving your child things that help them feel like their stomach is under control can help. So whether it's a placebo effect or not, it really doesn't matter. I find that giving kids water to take with them to school, or mints, or even like Tums or antacids, make them feel more confident that they can control their stomach pain. You also want to let your child know that there's always a safety plan. So if they have to go to school or do something else, walk them through what they can do if they're not feeling well. Let them know that their dictator will eventually give up. So if they can stick with it, their dictator is going to be like, you know what? This isn't really fun. She's still going to school. I'm going to just get out of here. And the stomach does eventually start to feel better. Every time I went to school and I felt nauseous, I wanted to call my mom. She didn't even know I was having these problems. I kept it to myself. But I would have loved to have called my mom and said, just come pick me up. I'm not feeling well. But once the thing that was triggering my anxiety was gone, I felt better. So you don't want to hit the escape button too fast. Pick your kids up before they have time to face their anxiety, let it dissipate, and to show when they come out on the other side, their stomach starts to feel better. The school nurse can be your best friend, because if a child feels like they can go to a warm, fuzzy school nurse who understands that they're having anxiety, and they can reset there without coming home, and then they can go back to class, that will completely crush their anxiety, because their anxiety will not have time to gather momentum and to feel empowered, because the child's working through it. And I've seen that be very, very effective when you have a nurse that works in conjunction with the school and with you. Highlight to your child the patterns. So every time my 5-year-old has a stomach issue, I will say to her, that's interesting. I wonder what you think is going on. It's probably annoying to have me as a mom, I am so sure. I'll give you an example. Like this morning, we're headed out to camp, and she's going to go into kindergarten, and so this is her first year at this camp. And as we're driving there, she's like, Mom, my stomach hurts. And I said to her, why do you think that is? And she said, because she's used to this with me. She was like, I'm nervous. I'm still nervous. I don't know anybody at camp, and we're going on a field trip today. And so she was able to connect the dots. Now she's able to connect the dots because whenever her stomach hurts, I always say to her, I wonder why. And I don't fill in the gaps. I let her mind start to put the pieces together. What are those mysterious pieces? Well, my stomach hurts and I'm afraid of going to bed. My stomach hurts. Or we're on our way to swim class and my stomach hurts always when we go to swim class, but it always feels better after swim class. You want your kids to eventually connect the dots for themselves. So don't jump in there and be like, you're nervous. You're nervous to go to school. Your stomach hurts because you're nervous. Ask them, I wonder why your stomach hurts. And then when you pick them up, like let's say you're going to a party and they're nervous and then their stomach hurts. And then you pick them up from the party and their stomach doesn't hurt. Point that out, because you want to make that mind-body connection. Because they think a lot of times that they're legitimately sick. And you know why? Because it feels that way. It completely does. So like after swim class, I say to my daughter, oh, by the way, how's your stomach? It's better. I wonder why. Because I'm not nervous anymore. And so I get her to see, if it was a stomach virus, your stomach would still hurt after swim class. Or with the older kids I work with in my therapy practice, I'll say to them, it's funny because your stomach hurts only Monday through Thursday. But Friday night, Saturday night, you're completely fine. And then Sunday night, boom, your stomach starts to hurt again. Help them connect the dots, because they need to buy into the fact that their stomach pain is caused by anxiety in order to work on it. I do want to mention before we go that there has been research that has shown that bacteria in the stomach is also linked to anxiety. And this is kind of a chicken or the egg thing. So is that bacteria causing anxiety and is actually the root of anxiety problems? Or is it a symptom of anxiety? I don't know, but I do know that they're saying that probiotics help. And why not, right? So if you have an anxious child with a lot of stomach issues, you might want to start giving them probiotics. Talk to your doctor about that and get some medical advice. But kids can have probiotics in anything. I love fermented food. I love pickles and I love fermented food. So I just get like a jar of kimchi, which if you don't know what that is, it's like a Korean cabbage, and it's kind of delicious in a weird sort of way. So I keep kimchi in my fridge, and I try to make sure that I eat kimchi and pickled onions. I know that sounds completely gross, but I like it. And that is a probiotic. So I'm eating kimchi and I'm loving it, and it's a probiotic. So you can find a food that your child likes and give it to them, or they have probiotics in pill form. But talk to your doctor about it. But that's definitely something you can do to help medically calm their stomach down. I know these are quick videos, and I know there's a lot of great parents out there who I'm sure have their own advice and suggestions that can totally help. So what are you doing for your kids with their stomach problems? Leave a comment and help some other parents. Or do you have a question? Leave a comment for me. I would love to hear from you. If you don't want to miss any more anxiety and OCD videos, hit subscribe because they're going to be coming out every Thursday. If you have an anxiety or OCD topic that I haven't covered and you're like, Natasha, I need help, shoot me an email or contact me. You can contact me, either leave a comment below, or you can go to my website at anxioustoddlers.com. It's a website for everybody. It's just called that. And there's a contact button, and I would love to hear from you. Let me know if there's something that you're struggling with anxiety. And if you're not in my private Facebook group yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Come on over. There's a link below. Join us because we have conversations every day about this stuff. And that's another way to communicate with me and let me know, because a lot of times people in that group will say, hey, Natasha, can you do a video or a podcast on this? And I do. So you can connect with me there as well. I hope you find the sparkle in every day, and I will talk to you next Thursday. Bye.